Good morning, everybody. Willie here at the Great Outdoors. And man, today we are getting outdoors. It's gonna rain, most likely. I mean, it's purple and gray and funky. But I don't care. It's just rain and it's hot and muggy anyway, so a little rain's gonna feel pretty darn good, I believe. But we are on our way to the campground. We are going to take Bert out on his first fishing excursion. That's right. He's going out. We're going to the campground. It's about 60 miles plus. I think that's a good shakedown. I've been driving him back and forth to work every day, and he's been fine. No leaks, no problems, no issues, other than he does really need some tires and pulls to the right slightly. Now, the only thing that I have noticed that's a little bit underwhelming is the interior space. This is not a big vehicle, okay? He's not huge, and that's the thing. It's not meant to be huge. That's the whole idea. The fishing rods, when they go in and you want to shut the back, well, part of the fishing rod is up here with me. So I think anything over a 6-foot rod, I'm going to see about 7 to 10 inches of the tip of the rod up here with me. So that's all right. That's no big deal. Can work with that, and I can even make something out of some PVC or something to put on the roof on the rack that I can slip the rods into. That's my wife. She's texting me. She told me she loved me. You gotta say it back. Not that I don't, I'm just saying you have to say it back. You have to answer. Okay? Men, listen to me. Always answer, don't care what you're in the middle of. Answer. Just saying. Trying to help you out a little bit. So let's back this thing out of here and let's head down the road and head toward the campground and do some fishing. Now, let's speak about that fishing thing just a moment. I didn't mean it. I was going to end right then, but I did not bring the Johnson Century, or let's do this right, the B100 Century Johnson. We didn't bring that. I didn't bring that. And the reason I didn't bring that is because it was performing badly. It roars and growls, and I know it works. I have no doubt in my mind that the reel works. But to put line, brand new line, on a reel that I know I'm not really going to use because it's not working so great and I really need to get gears for it, it just doesn't make sense to take and put brand new line on a reel that I'm going to really just sit there until I get parts for it. So eventually we will get that reel, some new gears, and get it out here and use it. But I did bring the Zebco ZD2 Delta because I'm really curious what that thing's going to do. Also brought some lighter stuff. I wanted to use some trout magnets. I wanted to use some trout magnets at the campground and see what we can do over there, maybe onto some bluegill and things like that. One has 2-pound line and one has 4. And we're going to go with those and trout magnet away today in the rain. Or maybe, maybe it'll just look ugly all day. Who knows? I don't know. rain has kind of tapered off, so everything's good and soaking wet, and humidity is probably about 147%. That's okay. If we're not going to get wet with the rain, we'll just have to get wet with the humidity. And if worse comes to worse, I'll just get in the swimming pool in my clothes. What are they going to do? But either way, I'm hoping that being that it is this overcast, the fish should be scattered out. They won't be all, way out deep or whatever. But all we can do is hope that they'll feed. If all this rain, they may have fed as much as they want to feed. You just never know. So it's going to be more up to our bait right now than having a group of fish that just feel like they're going to hit anything. Anyway, we're not far from there, and so far old Bert is doing great. Other than tires, we can definitely tell a difference there, or at least I can. I don't know if you can, but I can. Every stoplight that I left, I was spinning wheels. So tires are going to be a big thing. Definitely. At least tires with tread anyway. It seems like every time I come up here, I find some kind of new rule change or something I just wasn't aware of. And today's rule change is they don't open the gate until 10 o'clock. But if I want to get in to fish or do something like that, I need to call ahead and tell them I'm coming, and they'll put me in and give me a number or whatever. So there's always something. There's always something. In other words, they don't want people to have to be at that gate at 8 o'clock in the morning. But the first thing we're going to do is eat our Hardee's biscuit. I've already ate those wonderful little potato flavored grease sponges. I've already ate those. So now I'm going to eat my biscuit. The old steak biscuit. I'm going to watch this guy on the boat out here and see if he catches anything. Because, you got to know your area. I know my area. Oh yeah, just the way I remembered it. Lukewarm and stale. Good job, Bert. You the man. Let's go catch a fish. Look at that. It's like holding a group of roses you taken to your loved one, your spouse, and saying, "Here, honey." How beautiful these are. This is the Zebco ZD2 Delta. That's pretty smooth already right there. Now, I don't exactly have one of my jig heads on here that I normally use. I kind of set this thing up quickly on the fly. But let's see. First cast of this thing. That's not bad. I can see the line is a little squiggly from where it's probably been on there for quite some time. But I always like to use what comes on it at first, just to see. Oh, we just got a hit right there. Oh, we're getting all kinds of hits. Okay, that's what we want. Now I'm going to tell you right now, reeling this thing in is smoother than the new Delta. It's very much smooth. It doesn't make any noise whatsoever. If you go back to the original Delta video I made, you can hear that one just rattling. Now that's not saying every one of them do that, but I know that one I got sure did. But I have been told by more than 3 people that this reel was a better reel than the new Delta. And at this point, just this little point here, it does retrieve smoother and cast about the same. Distance wise, it's casting about the same. Can't wait to get some new line on it though. I think that would make a huge difference. Something else I'm going to tell you. I love the way it feels. That feels really good. The way they made this little dip in the middle here, it's perfect for your fit for your hand. Unlike the other Delta that's made like a hand grenade and doesn't really fit my hand very well. Oh, well, got a hit right there at the bank, and he got off. That's okay. We're all right with that. You know, at this point you would think I would learn that the first cast after a bait change, turn the camera on. I went with the old baby bass, Charlie Brewer, and we got us a gill. Hello, Gil. Hey, Gil. Come on now. Thank you, Gil. That was a very smooth hookup and a very smooth retrieve from the old ZD2. A little something zigzagging there. What do we got? Another gill? Yep, another gill. And not a big gill by any stretch of the word big. Hey, how are you getting, Gil? How are you getting tangled up like that? Stop it, Gil. 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 Gil went after my oops bait from Charlie Brewer. Thank you, Gil. I'm really looking forward to getting this line. Oh, that took off kind of quick. Getting this line off of this reel because it doesn't slide well. I mean, it's coming off cast-wise okay, but on the retrieve, it wants to almost like gum up in the eyelets or something. Oh, there we go. The oops bait for the win. That's got to be a gill because it is zagging and zigging and ziggy-zagging and moving and grooving. And not big again. Come on, Gil. Stop it, Gil. Gil. Another gill. Yeah, I'm looking very forward to taking this line off of here. I usually try to use what's on it, but especially if I'm trying to tell you about the reel itself. But then I like to do what I want to do with it, and then tell you a little bit more about it again after that. It casts this line okay, but it just doesn't retrieve it well. There we go. Oh, did I lose him? No, I got him. He's just swimming right to me. The oops bait, Charlie Brewer oops, is bringing in the gills. Bringing in the gills, bringing in the gills. Charlie Brewer's messed up and now I'm bringing in the gills. Stop it, Gil. Gil. And that's the oops bait. I mean, it's just a chartreuse with some red sparkle in it. And these smaller bluegills are really digging it. And this thing does cast a while. I mean, it takes a little bit for it to hit the ground, or hit the water anyway. Again, it feels really good in hand, very comfortable reel. I'm enjoying using this reel. This is fun. It's a good reel, seems to work really well. And it's very smooth, casts really far. Change that line, we'll see what that does. I'm using a 6'6" lightning rod. I think this is a medium, and it's an 8 to 14 pound setup. It's really working well. We got the TCB series rod here, the Leland and trout magnet set up with a 1/64 ounce trout magnet jig, and one that I think they call that, I don't know what color they call that. It's a goldish color, but I think it's like a mealworm or something like that. And I've been getting a lot of small hits over here. So I'm going to see if I can't get one of them little fellas, whatever that is. There we go. Oh, what are you? 2 pound line, people. Got to be careful here. Gotta be careful. Got us a little bass. He hit a mite bit hard. I knew things were different. Not that a bluegill don't hit hard. Well, I'm going to change my shoes here. Hop back in old Bert and head on back to the house. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this reel I've been using. When I first started using this ZD2, Zebco Delta ZD2, it was working really well. But something's happened. I don't know what it is. Now when I retrieve, it's like it's getting all jumpy and hung up. And before I do any blaming or saying it's not a good reel or whatever, I'm going to put some new line on it and see if it's just the line itself, because I don't like it. I've never been a huge fan of that Cajun line anyway. And I used to use the Cajun line as a leader, not as an actual on the spool line. But the reel started off really nice. It was very smooth, and it still is to this extent, except catching fish, it's wanting to just, I took a lot of line off of it thinking maybe the line has swelled, because it does that. As it gets wet, the line goes back on. It doesn't go back on as tight as it did from the factory when it was put on. And it tends to swell and get a little bit up underneath the rotor and kind of irritates its retrieve. So I took some line off. That didn't help any. So new line is the next step. Other than that, the way it fits your hand, the 5-bearing setup, the distance of cast is really impressive. It does cast really far. If we can just figure out what that retrieve thing is, we'll be okay. But now I'm going to head on over to the old bathhouse and try to figure out what has bit me in my leg now. Probably an ant, which is annoying because it's right in the bend of my left leg. But I got to go find out anyway. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. This was fun. Nice little test for old Bert. Bert came on up here in flying colors right through the rain and the thick of the hurricane. And as a matter of fact, starting to rain again. Did a good job. Some tires and some brakes. Mostly tires. I think we're going to be okay. I'm not going to say we ain't going to have some small problems throughout time, but for right now, I'm happy. I'm a happy person. Other than whatever this intense stinging is in the back of my left leg. Other than that, I'm a happy guy. Pretty happy guy. How about you, Bert? You happy? I think Bert's happy. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one. Whatever the next one may be. Now, I've been cleaning this thing up so nicely, I don't want to put nothing dirty in it. And everything I got is dirty. What's up with that? Huh?